Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And today I want to finally talk about a bit of a touchy subject, and that is the state of World of Warcraft at the moment, my opinions and thoughts on it, my hopes going into the future, and kind of my position and stance on Blizzard at the moment. I want to let you guys know right off the start. I know that this is like a touchy subject, and I'm just going to be real with you. For me, and I think for many others, there's a really good reason why people get so upset. And I think generally that is manifested in the form of anger, but I think that it comes from a place of fear. Because that's how it is for me. I think that there are certainly some things that I'm a little angry about. I don't voice that generally, but it's because I'm scared. And I think that's fair. I think that's only natural. I would like to say that I would hope that nobody wants World of Warcraft to fail, right? Like, I don't think many of the people that trash talk WoW before things started going downhill, I don't think many of those people were sitting around hoping that World of Warcraft was gonna die or will die, or they and I really believe this is true. I think most people want the game to be successful. They want it to be good. They want it to be enjoyable, something that they want to sit down and play all day. As Asmongold puts it, I want to ruin my life playing this game, and I can relate. I actually came to WoW from RuneScape. I know, and RuneScape was a hell of a grind, man. And when they tried to put in the evolution of combat for RuneScape and try to basically turn it into WoW, scuffed WoW, I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm just gonna go play WoW then. And I fell in love with WoW, and that's where it was. Let me say this. As someone who not only plays the game, but has, in some situations, made a living off of the game and off of content based around the game, I feel the pressure of, the game's state and its path more than anybody, more than most people, right? When this is what I stream about, what I do my videos about, of course it's scary. And I think that's really what it boils down to is I'm more afraid than anything because I don't want the game to fail. Now, here's some of the problems that I have with WoW right now. First of all, I think the GCD change, I think was a bad decision. I think that the game feels a little too slow now. And I think that it felt a lot better. I think it flowed better. I think it had better pacing before the GCD change. Now, thankfully, they have reverted a lot of the, especially utility and movement-based abilities with that GCD change. But I still think that the game just feels a little bit too slow now. Now, with that being said, I understand a lot of the points that Ian brings up, especially on the live stream Q&As. And I think that I have a pretty good comprehension of why they don't do some of the things that they do, because, and it's not because of that you think you do but you don't situation, like PvP vendors. It's one of those things where I understand why they don't want to do it, but when your community is pretty much, from what I've seen, unanimously agreeing that they want PvP vendors, I don't understand why you would just continue to not do that, even if you think that it's a better system. And there are some people that do enjoy the newer gearing system better, believe it or not. I personally don't. I always liked saving up honor points and buying the pieces that I wanted to buy first, especially when there was like unique transmog and stuff involved. I thought that was very, very important. I'll be honest though, with how WoW is right now, I don't find myself logging in that much. Since I stopped mythic raiding and doing progression raiding, the game doesn't really hold a lot of drive for me or value. Like when I log in, I don't really feel inspired to go and do anything, because realistically, there's not much of a worthwhile grind, right? Like, I suppose I could log in and do Mythic Plus to get gear to do what? See, that's the problem, is like, if I, personally for me, if I'm not doing Mythic progression, what am I getting the gear for anyway? Like, I don't care to really push high Mythic keys. I'm not terribly interested in trying to push for like Gladiator and PvP or anything. And so I'm kind of left with collection, go around and collect mounts and stuff like that. But even that, you know, just gets a little boring over time, because you just kind of realize that you're playing a slot machine on, you know, super rare mounts. And I don't know how many times I've killed the Pandaria world bosses, but I'm kind of bored of doing it. You know what I mean? It's easy and it's quick. But the point is that it's just getting old. And there are some things that WoW is doing really well right now. The zone design, fucking immaculate, dude. The art team slays it, man. I think some of the new mounts, especially like the Bloodseeker mounts and stuff, those are fucking dope. Like the frog mounts, amazing. The cutscenes, oh, dude, oh my god. Like the cutscenes they've never been this good in the history of WoW, obviously. And that goes from like the Lordaeron launch cinematic all the way up to the questing cinematics. There's so much lore value, so much storytelling that's going on right now. You know, like people like Jaina finally coming to grips and letting go of the guilt that she carries. Sylvanas having to step out of the shadows and to an extent do some things that other people wouldn't have the will or gall to do. And like I said in my other videos, I don't necessarily agree with everything Sylvanas is doing, but I think she's a much more interesting character, and I think that it's way cooler than what they do with most of their characters. I like this horde drama, and just wait, Alliance players, you're gonna get yours. Don't worry. Wait till the fucking Lightbound come in through alternate Draenor, and Yrel gets all up with Anduin, and Kalia Menethil starts getting involved. Trust me, you guys, your hands ain't gonna be clean neither. Trust. That will fucking come. And you got some bad shit coming too. The stuff with the old gods, like the raids, and to an extent even the dungeons, like all that stuff is really fucking good. Like all the voice acted quests, like the island expedition hinting quests, you know, that hint at the apocalypse or the return of the Twilight Dragons, and like all that stuff in WoW currently is fucking stellar. But like I feel as though most of the issues right now are coming up as like PR issues, timing issues with like store mount releases and stuff. Like I'm not against store mounts, just so you guys know. I have several of them. I'm not against buying them. And I think that personally, we have enough unique mounts in the game, and I have almost 400 of them. So please hold your opinion if you don't collect mounts. I think we have enough unique, cool looking mounts in the game that I don't get upset about the fact that the store mounts are also unique and cool, and they're optional, and they don't count towards any of the achievements for collecting mounts. So it's like, you're not actually even missing out necessarily if you don't purchase them. With that being said, again, I think that a lot of the stuff in WoW is really great right now. But then there's some of the financial decisions up in Blizzard. I think some of the operational and actual, it really, like what it comes down to for me is like the mechanical game design. Like I don't have anything to grind for. Like on RuneScape, at least I can grind for 99 skill capes of achievement that I can use to show off that I've maxed out a skill, right? Like I have incentive to grind the fuck out of the game, but in WoW, there's nothing like that. Hell, we don't even have challenge modes anymore, even though it sounds like they might actually be bringing that back. So just let's hold our breath on that one. So again, if the story in WoW wasn't as fucking god tier that it is, and I'm sorry for those people that they've never read the books and they don't read the short stories, they don't know the fucking story of WoW. Okay, let's just be honest. They don't. If you're not reading the quest text and stuff, you probably aren't keeping up that well with the story either. If you're not watching the cutscenes, you're definitely not. I'm going to say it. The WoW story is so massive and so jumbled over so many years that most people don't actually know what the fuck is going on. And that's just all there is to it. If the WoW storyline wasn't as good as it is, I don't know what would really keep me interested in the game. Here's the thing is that with the job cuts at Activision Blizzard, with the leadership changes, CFO and all that stuff, which Bellular has been talking about a lot. And I think Bellular, I respect and value his opinions on this kind of stuff, because he, being, you know, a game developer himself, I would say that he is a little more educated than most other people on the subject, and I think that he tries to take a pretty relatively pragmatic approach to it. But still, at times, even I think even Bellular, you know, is a little doom and gloom, and he knows that as well, as he's mentioned in his videos. But I get why, you know, like, he's got a whole crew of guys, editors and stuff like that, that to an extent, you know, they kind of rely on this, you know, that YouTube channel to pay the bills, right? So it's pretty important to him as well. So it's one of those things where I am of the opinion that I don't personally think that there's some, you know, Illuminati scheme, fucking secret takeover of Activision Blizzard, because as it's been pointed out, they're already the same fucking company. And I don't think that all of a sudden there's been this massive shift to intentionally destroy the game. And I think in the last Q&A, Ian Hazakostas really put that together for us, where he said, you know, we care a lot. Like, we don't want the game to suck. Like, we don't want it to be, I mean, when you think about this, think about it in just like a logical manner. Like, separate all emotions and stuff from it, and just think about it this way. If Activision Blizzard is intent on making more money, right? How does it make any logical sense for them to intentionally make changes with full intent of the reaction of those changes netting them less money, right? Like, it doesn't make sense that you would intentionally design something poorly because you would buy proxy, just kind of directly make less money, right? So I think that the whole idea that they're killing the game and stuff like that, that's very extreme. And again, I think that comes from a place of fear, which again, I totally understand. Now, here's what I think's going to happen, or at least what I hope happens, okay? I think WoW needs something new, and I mean new. I think there's some things we need to take into consideration here, okay? We just allegedly defeated the Burning Legion, basically the biggest bad guys in the universe, okay? Save the Void Lords, right? Gul'dan is dead. Illidan is gone at the seat of the Pantheon, right? Varian Rin is dead. Okay, we're about to face Queen Ashara. We basically just intervened with, and in a way uprooted, the oldest empire in World of Warcraft besides the Black Empire, that being the Zandalari Trolls. Like, the longest standing established civilization is now part of the fray. They kept themselves separated for a very long time, and they sustained themselves for a very long time that way. But even the oldest empires are beginning to crumble. That is very telling. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have Ashara and N'Zoth, and then what? After that, we probably fight the Light, and then maybe we fight the Void. But the problem is that the Light and Void are essentially one and the same, right? They even have Light Forged and Void Elves on the same faction. So I think it's pretty obvious where this is going. The Horde is turning into Death, and the Alliance is turning into Life, Light, and honestly Void. And I think that should show you something. Life, Light, and Void, they're all on the same team, whether we realize it or not, I think. And Death and Chaos are on the other side, right? So there's really only so many enemies left to fight. And I'm telling you, we're never going to confront giant shadow entity Void Lords. That's not going to happen. I promise you, if anything, the end game of World of Warcraft will be fighting the Titan Pantheon and basically destroying the gods. But I think that it's pretty clear to me that we're kind of approaching like the climax of the story. There's not that many enemies left to fight. And it's looking like potentially Queen Ashara and N'Zoth, who we think are like two of the biggest enemies ever, might actually end up in some way or another being or becoming allies. And I think like that's so important. Like, Sargeras has stabbed this giant sword into the planet. It's possible that Azeroth is going to be waking up soon, or dying and being reborn and breaking out of this world. I don't listen, from a story standpoint, I don't see World of Warcraft going any further than one more expansion after BFA. And I think the only thing to me that, or there's two things really that kind of would put a pin in that, and that is the fact that they've decided to redo and revamp some of the older zones, and the fact that they've done some game optimization in 8.1, what is it, 8.1 or 8.15? It's already in the game, whatever, so I guess it would be 8.1. So, like, like that's the point. Like, how much more do we really have left? Like, we have Sylvanas and Anduin, two of the most favorite characters in WoW, in the forefront of the story right now. Like, the dragon aspects are now mortal after the whole Deathwing thing, so the dragon aspects are basically taken out of the slew. Odin is out of the Halls of Valor, probably going back to Ulduar to rally the Keepers, just like Odin does in Norse mythology for the final battle of Ragnarok. Like, I think we're in the end game. And I think that a lot of the players' quotes, or characters' quotes, like Gul'dan, and even Gahun, suggest this. You know, Gul'dan saying, "In the end, death will inherit this world." Gahun saying, "The seals are broken. The end is here." Like, I'm telling you, like, death, the apocalypse, the end is coming. And so what I would really like to see from Blizzard, because I've heard that BlizzCon 2019 is supposed to be hyphy as fuck, and I kind of believe it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with me on this one, but I could see them either announcing a new expansion for WoW and basically building it all on a new engine. They'd basically have to remake the whole game, which is why I'm kind of thinking it probably wouldn't be an expansion, but a continuation of the story in some regard, but like on a whole new engine, you know, new animations, new, you know, relatively same art style, but something that can be much better optimized, something where you can actually do MMO things in it. You know, you can go out and have those big 20v20 or 30v30 PvP battles without lagging the fuck out. You know, maybe something where you can raid in a 30-man raid group and not lag the fuck out, even with a beast PC. You know, I think that the game is built on an older engine, and I think that it's time, and I think it's very important for Blizzard as well. I think that it's time for something new. I think it's time for some innovation. I mean, when you think about how much has changed with the graphical processing power of computers, like graphics cards now are getting fucking insane. Processors are getting insane. Like, we have hardware that's capable of running immaculate settings. And even in World of Warcraft, like, what, 15-year-old game, the optimization doesn't really allow for optimum play in the highest peak performance settings in the game. And I think that is very important. Like, I think that's a pretty big turnoff. And I hate to say it, I think part of the reason that it is that way is because on the lower end of the settings, it allows for people with potato computers, which I've been there. I used to raid at like 5 FPS back in Siege of Orgrimmar. People with potato computers to play the game. But I hate to say it, man, like, technology moves fast. And I think that it's going to get to the point where if they want to draw in new players, if they want to actually expand the horizons for their player base, they are going to have to do something new, and they're going to have to build something that's interesting. And so at BlizzCon, I'm hoping to hear some major announcements for World of Warcraft. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is entirely possible that they could actually end the world in BFA. I mean, think about the name of this expansion, The Battle for Azeroth. Like, does that not sound like the end game chapter? Like, the whole premise of WoW is the control of Azeroth. Like, whoever wins and gets control, like, that's it. So for the title of the expansion to basically be the basic premise of that idea, the battle for Azeroth, like, I think that's so obvious, isn't it? Like, I think it's super telling. Although I don't agree with how Blizzard has marketed this expansion, because I think it was a stupid fucking idea to make it look like Horde versus Alliance and then mix in the Old Gods stuff, even though obviously it's now about Old Gods. I think that the way that they marketed BFA was fucking dumb, personally. I think the introduction of classic servers is also very telling. Like, they're bringing out basically legacy servers during the time where we have an expansion called Battle for Azeroth. Like, come on. Yeah, I think that we're coming up on the end. And I hate to say it, but I think that this is like the largest overarching theme of the actual Warcraft universe, is that for beautiful, new, amazing things to happen, things have to end. And with every end, comes a new beginning. And I've been playing WoW for 6.5, almost 7 years now, and I absolutely adore WoW. I love it. It's the best game I've ever played, hands down. I'm sorry, but there's no comparison. WoW is easily the best game I've ever played. And I'd hate to see it go, man, but I'd rather see it be replaced by something new and innovative and interesting than just watch it die and fade into nothingness, hanging on to the hope that somehow they can take this 15-year-old game and revitalize it in a new and actually interesting way. Because I'm sorry, but it's hard to reinvent the wheel. Like, you can only do it so many different ways until it's tired. Now, with that being said, again, going back to BlizzCon, I would honestly at this point, if Blizzard, this is my unprofessional opinion, but if Blizzard wants to not literally fucking kill their games and basically lose the majority of their fan base, BlizzCon 2019 needs to include, I think, either a massively important expansion reveal for World of Warcraft or the reveal of a new game. Could be set in the same universe, and I have some theories about how that could happen, or they need to announce Diablo 4. And I think it'd be very cool if they ended up doing Diablo 4 as an MMO, where you have, as it's been discussed, city hubs where you can see other players. You have more of these MMO type vibes, an Angels and Demons style MMO. And in my opinion, preferably not in the camera style that they do Diablo in, because I'm not a big fan of that. But hey, some people really, really enjoy that. So, I mean, Blizzard has said that they are working on more unannounced projects than ever before right now. And I think that's pretty important, because I want to say at once, they were doing Overwatch and Hearthstone, correct me if I'm wrong, at the same time. And that's 2 entirely new games that we didn't really know about. So what are they working on? 3 games right now? 4 games? Like, what does Blizzard actually have planned? Because I'll keep it real with you. I don't think that they're so incompetent that they can't make good games. And I don't think that they're so incompetent that they can't make good financial decisions. Blizzard's been around for a long time, and even with Activision and Blizzard having, such a intertwined model with each other, or as one company essentially, I don't think that from a business standpoint, the way that the community is perceiving the decisions made by Blizzard makes a whole lot of sense monetarily. I just don't. I find it rather illogical for them to be following the path that a lot of people think that they are. But I digress. I'm not here to defend Blizzard. I'm here to kind of just give you my opinion on the game, the state of Blizzard, and listen. I personally don't identify as a Blizzard shill. Like I said, I've been very vocal about some of the issues that I've had with the game in the past. And again, I get why people are upset. And I think that it would be dishonest to say that a lot of that does not come from a place of fear. And again, I understand how that is. So this is just my kind of thoughts on it. I don't mean to upset anybody if I did. I'm just hoping for the best, man, because there's so many opportunities, so many cool things that you could do with WoW to continue the story in the same universe and build a new game and stuff like that. Like I said, I have some ideas for that, so maybe I'll do a video about that. If you'd like to see a video about that, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know. But that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope that my thoughts have been a little relatable. Hopefully you liked some of the ideas that I posed, and like I said, I'm just hoping for the best. So I appreciate you guys very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please do hit the like button and make sure to hit that subscribe button to get more content like this in the future. If you guys missed my video yesterday, it's about Sylvanas working for N'Zoth. You should go and check that one out. That's it. I appreciate you guys very much. Stay awesome, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!